It's nice to be here. I feel good. It's early for a comedian/musician to wake up. So anybody that's watching, thank you. Anyone that's here, thank you. And anyway, it's good to be here. We're gonna do a lot of cool stuff today. Shall I throw to Ulrich and introduce him?
Absolutely, yeah.
So years ago, maybe what, 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
Something like that. Quite a while.
It's a while. It's been a while. I met. I was recommended a producer slash engineer slash guy that lived very close to me, but I knew that he had done a bunch of really cool records, and I knew that you did. And the first thing I listened to was a Pantera album called Great Southern
Trendkill.
Great Southern Trendkill, and I loved the way the drums sounded. And I knew how to make guitars sound like guitars. I knew how to make my voice sound like my voice, but I didn't know what I would do with drums. I had no experience with that because I had been using drum programming stuff that was not as good as what I would eventually end up using, which is Superior Drummer and TuneTrack and all that stuff, which is part of the reason we're here today. But I wanted to make a record. I wanted to make the first Death Clock record from the television show Metalocalypse, which is what I'm known for. But I wanted to put out a standalone record for the band that doesn't really exist on the show called Death Clock. And I knew I was going to get a budget, and I knew I wanted to go to a real studio, and I wanted to transfer all these ideas into a real record. So I was recommended Ulrich, and we got along really well, and we had a similar philosophy on how to do stuff, which is basically get in there and get it done, and quit screwing around and quit making excuses. And when you work in TV and you work very quickly, that's the way you got to work. So I sat, and so this is a big long intro. For Ulrich Wild, who's right over here, ladies and gentlemen, please, how about a warm run of dry clapping for the small room? Yeah. Ulrich, say something about yourself. Tell me where you're from.
I'm originally from Switzerland, but I live in LA, 2
now,
miles from you.
for those of us in America, where is Switzerland?
It's in Asia.
Okay, good place.
Somewhere in the middle.
Known for being punctual.
Yes.
Known for chocolate,
cheese, and tape machines.
And tape machines.
Yes.
All right. And
clocks.
Also water goblets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't have any of those anymore. I had to leave those at the border.
Yeah. Anyway, here's Ulrich. Ulrich's got a lot. Tell us about your history.
Yeah, I just grew up in recording studios. I worked my way up through.
You came here. What year did you come here?
I came in '87.
87.
I'm dating myself here, right
out of high school. A lot of people watching weren't born until the mid '90s.
Yeah,
so
there's definitely that.
Yeah.
But I just worked my way up the ranks in a recording studio and went from runner to assistant engineer to engineering to producing. And that was one way to arrive where I have arrived. Things are a little different now. There's a lot more home recording going on. And
studios have changed, gone from analog to digital.
Yeah, and actually there's a lot less opportunity for people to learn by sitting in big recording sessions, because a lot of people have to kind of learn on their own.
Right, because people go off by themselves and do stuff. Yeah. So that's why today is going to be cool. We've got a couple students here too, right? We've got Kat. Yep. We've got Drew. Yep. All right. Now, you guys may or may not be plants. We're not sure if you're really interested in learning this stuff, but we're going to find out during the big quiz.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and the wrestling match later on too. But nice. I'm sorry, I've taken over this whole thing. I want to throw back to you, Drew, and see if you've got anything to say about this.
I don't have anything else to say. I just want to dive into this stuff. I'm super
Very good.
excited,
Okay, so
take us away.
So we're going to go through a bunch of the stuff that I personally, my background before I got into the whole comedy thing is I went to Berklee College of Music and I studied. I was what you call a guitar performance major, which means I studied a lot of composition stuff, and then I had to go up and play in front of people and blow it, which is what I would do. I was a very terrible kind of person that would play like the juries. I would blow it every time and make everybody feel really nervous and weird and avert their eyes. But that's how I did things back then. That was my way of gaining power over them, was to embarrass myself so they felt terrible around me, and then they would offer me better grades. So that's one thing I did. But I learned a lot about what I did at music school. And this will be something that we can answer these questions too, because this will be about how to record, how to start recording, how to how to do exactly what we said, which is if I'm in TV and I've got a deadline, I've got to hit it no matter what. I've got to write a song or 2 songs sometimes every week or every 2 weeks, but I've got to have an idea, and I want to show you guys how it's not so daunting to do that once you just get started. And I'll just start with that because I have a session open up here, and we're gonna take you. First of all, here's a big overview of what Ulrich and I are gonna do today. We're gonna take you through from like how a bill becomes a law. We start out with an idea, like a scratchy guitar and some kind of programmed drums. In this case, Tune Track Superior Drummer, and we're gonna go all the way to the mixing of a record. So we're gonna take you through all that stuff. How the guitar works, how the guitar is mic'd, how I use a direct box in some cases, and I'll show you more about that. Everything from bass arranging, vocals, and then in some cases a 50-piece orchestra, and we'll tie this whole thing together in a big, beautiful package for you at the end. And I think you'll understand how to do this stuff, or at least how we do it, because everybody does it differently, and it all starts from, in this case, a little laptop with Pro Tools.